What is up, guys? This is Game Fanatic Cook, and today I'm going to talk about something a little bit cheeky, something a little bit interesting. And it's my thoughts on Monster Hunter stories and how it connects to the greater Monster Hunter universe. Now, I did some quick researching before this video, nothing too insane. Basically just trying to figure out if Monster Hunter Stories is officially canon or not, seeing if Capcom has released any official statements saying if it is or is not, and I was not able to find anything that was telling me if Monster Hunter Stories was canon or not. So I'm under the perception that it's not canon. I wouldn't think Monster Hunter Stories is canon, but I'm going to talk about Monster Hunter Stories in this video as if it is canon and it is connected to the greater Monster Hunter universe. Now, the reason, to give you a quick reason why I don't think it's canon, is because in every mainline Monster Hunter game, there's not a single fucking mention of the writers, and with how advanced people are in the Monster Hunter universe, I believe that there's nowhere in the world that we really haven't explored yet, with Monster Hunter World being the last great exploration point. So I doubt there's two separate civilizations that are just on different parts of the world, one where there's a bunch of people that ride monsters and one where there's a bunch of people that hunt monsters. I just can't believe that's how it works, that they just have not found out the magic of riding monsters yet in normal Monster Hunter mainline games. And beyond that, speaking of magic, there seems to be a lot of magic-esque things going on in Monster Hunter Stories, with the kinship kind of magical events that randomly happen, and controlling monsters, making them go crazy, and all this weird stuff. I feel like there's it's too magical. I just feel like in Monster Hunter Stories it's too fantastical, and obviously there are fantasy elements in straight up Monster Hunter, but I feel like Monster Hunter Stories leans too far into it for it to really be connected to Monster Hunter, and you not see as many of those fantastical elements in baseline Monster Hunter. So right there is why the biggest reason I don't think that the two are in the same universe. I just don't think it makes sense at all to me. And yeah, so that's why I think they're separate. And I do know Monster Hunter Stories, it says in a land far away or an isolated village where they ride. I think that's bullshit, especially since you get to huge cities, huge advanced civilizations, and the idea there could be an isolated Monster Hunter Stories civilization that they have a bunch of riders, these huge walls, these huge cities, and they're super advanced and they're in the same level of advancement as the Hunters Guild areas are. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. So yeah, and there's the idea, obviously there's the Hunter versus Riders conflict, but at the same time, I really don't believe that the Hunters in Monster Hunter Stories are from the Hunters Guild. It just doesn't make sense to me. It still really doesn't connect to me. It just doesn't make sense. Because in the mainline Monster Hunter games, there is no mention of the Riders, there's no even thoughts of the Riders, and it's just impossible to me that it would be in the same universe. Because Stories obviously references Monster Hunter quite a bit, but Monster Hunter doesn't reference Monster Hunter Stories at all. So that's why I think they are separate universes. Maybe it's a multiverse theory thing where it's yeah, this is the same land masses, same areas, but in this universe, in this multiverse, riders exist, and in this multiverse they don't exist, and that's probably what's going on here. Really, it's not worth thinking about too deeply, but until riders are introduced into a mainline game, if they're introduced, I'm gonna go ahead and say monster riding and taming and all that good stuff just isn't canon, just really can't happen. Anyway, we kind of lost the original point of this video because I was talking about why it isn't canon for so long, but I wanted to really talk about how dumb it would be, such as it was portrayed in Monster Hunter Stories 2, where the Hunters are against the Riders. About how dumb that is, because in mainline Monster Hunter games, you do use monsters for fast travel and do use certain monsters to assist you. So it's clear the Hunters Guild is open to using monsters if they can use monsters to benefit the defense of the people. So it makes no sense to me why, in that Monster Hunter Stories 2, why the hunters were so against certain monsters. Obviously, they were against the Wraithlos particularly, which makes sense, but they seemed in general to have a disdain towards the riders. I would think that, you know, if riding was canon in mainline Monster Hunter games, you would see the Hunters Guild implementing it all the time, and probably the most prolific hunters probably being riders as well, because as you do in Monster Hunter stories, you kill monsters using other monsters. It's like a Pokemon fight. So it really doesn't make sense. Like, riders aren't treating wild monsters any better than the hunters are. You know, you're still killing a bunch of monsters. It's just you have one you're friends with. But I think it would be pretty epic gamer to be able to summon a monster to help you out in a mainline Monster Hunter game. Like, you get to fight alongside it real time, have your monster jumping around and fighting. That could be a pretty cool little scenario, don't you think? Imagine you have like a great Jaggy with you, and it's tearing into a Wraithlos, but it's getting torn up. But you jump up, you're like, I want to cut the tail off while it's fighting and distracting it, and all this crazy stuff. That'd be pretty cool, right? You know, not as good as Cha-Cha, but it would be a cool little scenario going on there. But this video, there wasn't a central theme. I feel like everything I said in this video has been connected so far, but there definitely was a lack of a central theme, meaning I have no clue what I'm going to title this video. But I hope you guys enjoyed what I talked about. Give me more discussion topics in the comments and what you guys think. And yeah, I think that Monster Hunter Stories is really cool. I like Monster Hunter Stories, by the way. Don't get me wrong. I like the story. I like the game. I just don't think it makes 100% sense most of the time. But I do really like Monster Hunter Stories, and I obviously love Monster Hunter. So I want to make sure you guys know I do like both. I'm not trying to shit on one. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Stay blessed, like and subscribe. We're trying to hit 300 subs by the end of the year. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Stay safe.